welcome to update number 12 of the project Taking Toolbox for Creativity to Kickstarter. Let's see if you have been paying attention to my updates and my blubbering. Last time I told you, last update 11, I told you that some things were happening, not related to the campaign, but obviously affecting the campaign. One of those was I was relocating. So finally, yes, I made it. I made it to Dublin, to Ireland. That's where I am at the moment. And that's where I am recording and showing this update from. So everything went well. I got my boxes, everything was fine. Flying during COVID was a bit painful. Even though I was fully vaccinated and all of that, in Ireland we had to quarantine even, after arrival and having a negative tests, before departure and all of that. So things here were a bit strict compared to other countries in Europe. Anyhow, that's all in the past. I arrived here, I think it was on the 12th of June, and on the 19th, the regulations changed. So yeah, this is happening everywhere. Regulations are changing pretty much every other week. So nonetheless, everything was fine in spite of the little problems and how horrible it is to have one of those tests, where they introduce that thing, in all the way into your nose, like really deep. Uncomfortable. It was done. All was negative. So the show must go on now. So let's see what have we done since the last update. Up until now, it has been almost a month. I do apologize. I was supposed to be doing this at the beginning every week. Then I moved to every 2 weeks. It is almost a month since the last update. There are some excuses, some explanation for this. I told you the relocation and so on and so forth. But nonetheless, I should have been more consistent. So let's see at what deliverables we have completed since the last updates. First, we have the prototypes. This I also mentioned in update 11, but now they are 100% ready. I have 10 copies of the product, and these are used for showing the product, for recording the video, and for some other things that I will actually mention in a minute. So that's deliverable number 1, the actual prototyping kit. But something that you may remember through all my talking is that the prototyping kit is not the only rewards that people get when they back up Toolbox for Creativity in Kickstarter. There is also the implementation and evaluation framework and the data collection forms. Plus, all of this lives inside a website which is called a community of practice, toolboxforcreativity.com, and this is where the community of practice will live, and people need to go there and download materials. They can watch videos, but they also can upload their own applications of Toolbox for Creativity. So all of this is for the future, and these are deliverables that somehow were completed, and they are part of the rewards of Toolbox for Creativity. So as I mentioned, deliverable number 1, the prototyping kit is ready. Number 2, the landing page for Toolbox for Creativity is ready. I also mentioned this on update number 11, but the page, it has changed dramatically. So let's have a look at the landing page of Toolbox for Creativity. Okay, so here we are in the landing page for Toolbox for Creativity. As you remember, one of the main purposes of the page is to actually get people to sign for the newsletter, which is also connected to some other points that I will touch in a minute. But if you look, you don't have to remember, but if you look at update number 11 and compare it to this one, the look and feel of the page has changed a lot. And this is because some other deliverables that were connected to the landing page were completed. So number 1 was creating or running actually a photo shoot, a video recording of people using Toolbox for Creativity. So this was finally done. I managed to get some volunteers to join this workshop, and at this event there was a professional video recording company, and two friends were acting as photographers. So they took really cool pictures, and now we are using those pictures as marketing material. So let's scroll down a little bit. As you can see here, now we have a video that shows how Toolbox for Creativity works. It's not the final video, this is just a teaser, and it shows, as I mentioned, people interacting with the elements of Toolbox for Creativity and a workshop actually happening. So now this is built into the landing page, and if we scroll down here, I mentioned that we have some pictures actually taken by two photographers during the video recording. Let's keep scrolling down a little bit to see what we see here that is worth mentioning about Toolbox for Creativity, the landing page. Now we have as well a few more testimonials. This is people that have experienced, used Toolbox for Creativity, gave the testimonial, and now is loaded onto the page. And at the bottom, we can see as well organizations that we have worked with in order to produce or show our research. And you can see two European universities and a few international conferences at which Toolbox for Creativity, or the research that led to Toolbox for Creativity, has been shown or displayed. Something as well that was connected to the marketing video, because the marketing video, on top of showing people interacting with Toolbox for Creativity with the physical elements of Toolbox for Creativity, there were some elements that are digital and are not shown in the video. So they actually had to be created, or the mock-ups had to be created in order to show them to people. And what I'm talking about is the community of practice, the implementation and evaluation framework, and the data collection videos, and the whole community where people will go and interact with the tool, information, data, and interact with other users. So let's have a look at the community of practice. Let's see how this looks. And remember, this is a mock-up. It was done for the purpose of actually recording how the page will look and putting this into the final video. But anyway, let's have a look at it. Here we are, once again, the community of practice. As you can see, the graphics are sort of recycled from the graphics that we had in the other page. Nonetheless, they are good quality. The idea is that when you back up Toolbox for Creativity, you get access to the community of practice. And in here, you can see the different, or at least for now, the first part of the community of practice is the different applications of Toolbox for Creativity. Obviously, this list will grow in future. For now, I'm just giving an example. We can use Toolbox for Creativity to run workshops or training sessions on the topics of diversity and inclusion, design thinking, and induction training. So this is it for the moment. There are many more. We can also apply to leadership. We can also apply to workshop trainings or ideation trainings. So for the purpose of this sample, for the purpose of this mockup, I just kept it to the three. Then we have as well the members area. In the members area, people can download the data collection forms. There are many other benefits of the members area, but for now it's just this. So the data collection forms, they can also download the framework for evaluation and implementation. And here finally, we have the videos that I have been talking about. So these videos are simply the videos that guide both the trainer, the facilitator, and the trainees through the iterations of Toolbox for Creativity. So remember, we have maximum 5 iterations of Toolbox for Creativity. We start with something in appearance quite basic, but it's not, it's quite powerful, which is paper prototyping. And both the facilitator and the trainee, they need to understand how to use paper prototyping. So there are two sets of videos, one video dedicated to the facilitator and the other video dedicated to the trainees. And that's how we advance through the iterations of Toolbox for Creativity, and all of this is available through the members area. And so, having completed the landing page and having completed the testing kit of Toolbox for Creativity, I have offered it to people. So they test it, so they use it, they give me the feedback, and I also collect some data on how they used the tool, what specific training they used it for, and how people reacted to the idea of building a prototype of a game as a tool for learning, right? So I actually sent the copies of Toolbox for Creativity as far as New Zealand. It was a bit expensive to send from Ireland, but arrived super fast. It was surprising, given my history of with the Unpost, which is the post service here in Ireland. Let's not talk about it, but it was delivered super fast to Australia, and now it is there, and there is one or two people actually over there that will be taking turns to use Toolbox for Creativity to deliver training, and I'm really looking forward to see this, because these are real applications of Toolbox for Creativity in training settings that the tool, my product, my learning solution has not been exposed to. So I'm really looking forward to see how this turns out. But it's not only New Zealand. I also sent a copy of Toolbox for Creativity to the United States as well, to be used in project management training. And quite recently, I was talking to colleagues in Turkey. So there's a possibility as well that I will be sending boxes to Turkey for a group of people, same as in New Zealand, to take turns to use it in different training settings, and I want to collect as much data as possible. Now let's just make a tiny little break, because there is a fly flying in front of the camera and it's driving me crazy. Perhaps you cannot see it, I hope you can't, but it has flown 16 times across the screen and it's driving me crazy. 1 second. And so those are deliverables that were completed from the last update, which was more or less a month ago, up until now. So now we are moving fast. Deliverables are, getting ticked on the to-do list. Now it feels more like real what's happening. And let's go into the next step. Still a deliverable, but I am separating this because it's sometimes an ongoing task, but it has some specific milestones that I would like to share with you. And what I'm talking about is marketing efforts. So the first marketing effort is something that you already know, which is the newsletter. So I'm using the newsletter to share information with people who deliver training workshops or coaching sessions. And the idea is to share information that people can use in their training, in their workshops. And I will be using this very same newsletter closer to the launch of Toolbox for Creativity to provide, details about this launch and to encourage people to share and to back up the campaign. But for now, it's just about sharing information with people who deliver training, workshops, and coaching sessions. So that's still ongoing. And between today and tomorrow, I will be releasing the next version, the next issue of the newsletter to taking Toolbox for Creativity to Kickstarter. So on top of that, I am presenting my research, which is connected to Toolbox for Creativity, in 2 international conferences or events. So the first one is the PMI Virtual Experience, PMI Project Management Institute, and let's have a look actually at the site for this virtual event. So here we are, Virtual Experience Series 2021, 6th to the 7th of October. And here we have some information about, the regions and all of this. I will give you the link so you can click on it. You can see how this works yourself. I have joined as a listener this event twice. It's excellent. The quality of information that is shared is quite impressive, but also if you have PMI certifications, you can have many. You can build PDUs by attending this type of events. Let's have a look at the program and let's have a look at the speakers. So first we have featured speakers. Unfortunately, no, I am not part of the featured speakers. Let's see how many rows of, okay, so there are 3 rows of featured speakers, so that's 9 speakers. But then we have the list of regular speakers, and that's where I am. But I am the first one, and I believe it's just because of my surname, and that puts me at the top of the list. But here we can see the rest of the speakers, participating in this event. So I will be sharing the link. I encourage you to look into it. It's quite impressive, the amount of information that you get, not only the amount, but the quality of the information. And PMI virtual experience. Now, the second event, and these are events that are confirmed. There could be something else coming because I applied to quite a few. Okay, yes, I did get maybe one or two saying thank you, but no thank you. But I did get as well 2 saying thank you, yes, we want you. So first one, PMI virtual experience, and the second is Spiel's Educators Day. And this is a big one as well, completely different than PMI, because PMI is focused on project managers and people working in project management, either classical sort of what you call waterfall type of project management, or agile, or a mixture of the two. Now, Spiel is about games, board games more specifically, but they also have something I think is pretty new. It's like 3-4 years old, and it's called the Educators Day. So let's have a look at these websites and let's see a bit more what I'm talking about. So here we are on the website for the Educators Day for the event Spiel 2021. And there is not much information about this year's event, so it tells us what it is, of course, it tells us what it is and how it works. It will be virtual, that's for sure. The Spiel event will be physical, so people will be there displaying their board games and some of the things related to board games as well. There will be a lot of people attending simply because they love board games and they want to buy board games. There will be a lot of publishers. This is how these events work. But the Educators Day, the events related to the Educators Day will be done virtually. So my presentation will also be done virtually, and then they will receive it and then show it over there and show it to those logging in virtually to this Educators Day event. And then we scroll down a little bit, and what we can see is actually more information about previous Educators Day. So in this case, we can see Spiel 2019, and we can see some of the speakers and some of the information. I actually did watch several of the videos that were released for Spiel Educators Day 2019, and it was pretty impressive. So I'm really, really glad that my research was accepted for 2021's the Spiel Educators Day 2021. All right, let's go back to the marketing efforts. The first one I mentioned is the newsletter. I also talked about the events that I'll be presenting in order to share my research and also, get a bit of marketing and publicity along the way. And the third one, and this is something new as well, is I will be creating webinars in which I will be releasing material that helps people who deliver training, workshops, or coaching sessions. So, for instance, the first webinar that I'm releasing, and this will be live in about 2 weeks, is, well, the actual title is How to Deliver More Diverse and Inclusive Training. And by training, I also say workshops and coaching sessions. So what I'm doing is I'm combining some of the, as I mentioned myself in the newsletter and in the webinar, applied theory and experience. So this is my applied theory and experience about diversity and inclusion in training and development. I have written about 3 articles on the topic, 2 of them published in an online magazine, one of them actually published in an academic book released by the University of Economics Krakow in Poland. So now I'm taking all of that, plus my own experience as both attendee of trainings and workshops, but also delivering training and workshop. So I'm putting all of this together and I'm creating this webinar. I will be releasing this for free. The only thing is that the link will be shared with those people who are part of the distribution list, part of the that have signed for the Toolbox for Creativity, Toolbox for Creativity mailing list. That's how the link will be released. So I encourage people to share the link, and I will be putting information as well in social media, which I started doing that, and I will also put the information on this month's issue of the newsletter. So the information will be there. It's a free webinar. All I'm asking people is to sign to the newsletter, just to increase visibility of my products and the Kickstarter campaign. And that's it for the deliverables, what has been completed for the project since the last update 11 a month ago. Now this is update 12. And let's have a look at the next steps, what we need to do sort of in the next couple of weeks, just to keep on moving. So first, important, super important, we need to grow our audience. For now, the audience is quite small, and we need to get those numbers big, because there's no point to go to Kickstarter if we have not secured the minimum amount of backers before even going to Kickstarter. And using the graphics, the video, and all of this stuff that I told you that I have been creating, that is created actually in the past weeks, now we need to take all of that and build the Kickstarter landing page. This is actually the page when you go to www.kickstarter yada 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 and look for Toolbox for Creativity. This is what you will see. At the moment, if you look for Toolbox for Creativity in Kickstarter, there's nothing there, because the campaign is not live, not even for the pre-live version of the campaign. None of that is there, but it will be there soon. And for this, in this campaign, we need to focus on making sure that we have right the rewards, the graphics as well. They need to be right. They need to show exactly what Toolbox for Creativity is and does. It needs to be engaging. We need to show as well the stretch goals. And finally, not as easy as it sounds, we need to get right shipping costs, shipping and distribution. So it's I'm doing some research at the moment. Once I have more information about this, I will be sharing it with you. So this is what needs to be done in the next couple of weeks. I hope to be sharing more information about these next steps in updates 13. And for today, that's it. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for listening to this. And if you liked this conversation, if you like the ideas that I'm sharing, please share yourself this video with your friends, with your colleagues, with your social media. Share what Toolbox for Creativity is about, what we want to achieve, and yeah, let's make it happen, because for crowdfunding is a matter of the crowds, a matter of the number of people who are following the campaign and who are supporting the campaign. And for now, those numbers are a little bit skinny. We need to beef them up. So anyway, yeah, thanks Emil. I'll shut up now, and I'll talk to you on updates number 13. Thank you. Bye.